defending. I think it's like.
Am I live? Of course I am. People, deluded, I'm back again. Good afternoon to those of you like myself in the UK. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, and of course, good night, depending on where else you guys are stationed. Hope you're all doing well and safe. Hope you've all had a good start to the week. Obviously, with it being Wednesday, hope you've all moving that much closer to your goals, hopes, dreams, and of course, aspirations. And if you're going through hardship, keep going, man. The beauty of achieving our goals in life is the struggle, man. If you don't go through struggle and you don't suffer, then you don't appreciate it. And then whatever your goals are, you probably don't keep it. Please make sure you're hitting the like button. As usual, goals and aspirations are one thing, but you can't do anything without your health. And obviously in the last, I'd say 18 months to 2 years period, apologies, you've seen why health's always been important, obviously, but you see why it's even more important. So as usual, wishing you and your loved ones good health and those things. Apologies for being here later than usual, people. I had some things I needed to take care of, people. So yeah, the 11:30 just wasn't going to happen, but I'll never leave you lot hanging. And on that topic, obviously we're here for as long as we're here, but we move over to Twitch at 7:15, people. It's Nations League semi-final business, Italy versus Spain. Come over and watch that game with me tomorrow. Make sure you're same time, same protocol, Belgium versus France. In relation to the final, I'm actually going to be I'm going to be somewhere on Sunday, so that might not be able to happen, but I'll keep you updated. Hit the like button, man. So yeah, obviously, I'm sure you lot have probably been saying, "Where's Deluded? Where's Deluded?" There's some comments about Saliba getting a chance and Martinelli's anxious and this and that. Where's Deluded? Why isn't he here? Please let me know your opinions on these subjects as well. Of course, I'm going to offer mine throughout and things. But yeah, man, it's early doors. Free Martinelli. And don't forget to hit the like button. Vodka Martinelli says, what a creative username. Appreciate that. Raz, I felt big up you, Raz, because I see you comment, is there going to be an Arsenal stream? I was like, you know what? It's like the Batman signal. I can't let you guys down, man. G1U was obviously the first who commented here, so I appreciate that. A man said, DG, glad you're here. My morning jog was terrible without you. CSI, I appreciate that. But there's no way you could have been preing all my content. I'm sure there's something that could have, accompanied you along that run. But yeah, standard procedures, normal settings tomorrow, I think. Again, it should be. It should be. Yeah, it should be. It should be pretty calm, really, tomorrow. Should be. Feel like I have something to do, but I don't know what it is. But yeah, until that is what it is. Allegedly, Martinelli's unhappy. I'm sure you've all seen in the last couple of hours as well. Saliba's apparently going to get a chance and things like that. Man said, DG, you got a trim. I needed to appreciate that, my dude. I had to, man. Shout to the baby mamas. And I know I always get 2 dislikes, probably going to get a lot more. Martinelli finally spoke out. It's not speaking out, I think if we've got to keep some perspective, I think, I'm not saying you, Tino, but I think this kicks that we might as well start now. I think, obviously the way we was at the start of the season, it was completely different. But I think it's always going to be the player that, sorry, people, man, we've got a super chat, man. Big up DG, missed these lives, been too long. I appreciate the super chat. I appreciate you giving your time, and I appreciate the fact that you like what you see here. So one love to you and everyone tuned in. But obviously before that, because of the options we have, it's always going to be a crisis for the one that's not involved. There's going to be a point Smith Rowe might get dropped out. We've got to remember before the North London derby, it's not that anyone was playing poor, but we're looking at Saka, Smith Rowe, Aubameyang, even Tierney. If Tavares can fight for him, these men can come out of the team, and these sort of things can still be said. Obviously, when you look at Martinelli, Balogun, Pepe, these guys were getting their opportunities when obviously people are missing due to COVID and all these other excuses. And, for me, they need to wait now, innit? Obviously, again, things could be changed post-Brighton, but I think, Martinelli's unfortunate in that Saka and Smith Rowe, especially Smith Rowe, 2 games on the bounce now, has played very well, and the other positions. But people need to remember, I know we're not in European competitions, but it is a long season. We've got AFCON where several players are going to be gone. Martinelli's there, and I think we've got to keep some perspective, because as I've been saying, I think he will get his chance. I think his chance will come. You look at January, Aubameyang and Pepe are gone. Right wing up front, there's even left wing, there are opportunities that can be given to you. We've got to remember Saka and Smith Rowe still need to be rested. They can't. I know we need to find a certified 11 and we're playing once a week, but you need to remember, again, you're seeing us struggle against Spurs and Brighton, or better yet, post Spurs, to replicate that same output. We need to be able to rest players and know that there's not too much of a drop off. I feel it for Martinelli because In fact, before I get into that, as I was kind of saying, people, we've got to keep some perspective. He's had chances. You know, people are saying Pepe's been banished. He started the first 3 or so games. Now the team was in negative health, but he had chances. Martinelli had chances at the start of the season. What, he got significant minutes against Brentford. Again, it's a mix and match lineup. People are not fully fit. Discount all of those things. But he played against them. He played against Chelsea, and let's be real, he didn't do much. You know, for what it's worth, I hope Martinelli's anxious. I hope he's upset, because I would be too. I want to play football, especially when we're doing this young player thing and Smith Rowe and Saka are the heroes. Martinelli's had his time where he's been there. I would want to play. Where Martinelli's unfortunate, he's probably not going to get a look in his most comfortable position until a madness happens off that left. You've got Smith Rowe now complicating things off that. Aubameyang can be pulled over there. Saka and Pepe can obviously be thrown over there as well. So there's other things. Up front, listen, I think he could play all of these positions, but from a tactical point of view, I see why he's out. It's not that I'm not, again, for me, he should be getting more minutes, and I'm going to get into all of that. But I do think fans take it overboard. And let's be real, when he's played, he hasn't taken, again, I give him luxuries, because it's like last season with Pepe. You can't expect a man to perform and hit it off. Same way you've got to take whatever chances come to you. You can't expect a man to hit it off straight away if he's not playing and not getting real minutes, and then you're throwing him in. But at the same time, you've got to take your chances where they come, and you need to earn that right. Last season, his chances were minimal, but he didn't take it. He had a decent game against West Brom, didn't show too much through the middle, did he? If we're real with ourselves, Chelsea, Brentford didn't do much, Again, I look back to the FA Cup last season, didn't do much. Fair enough, barely playing, and he's playing with Cedric behind him, Issa Mazza, but hasn't done much. I do think now and I do think fans take it overboard. Stop moving like Martinelli's a world-class player right now. Does he have a potential to be a real star for club and country? 100%. Should he play more? And I'm going to get into that now, 100%. But I think fans need to, more than one truth can live in the same realm. Now, for Martinelli, as I said, for me, I'd be frustrated. I would be frustrated. Same way if I was Saliba, I would have been frustrated, because I hear it. But at the same time, people that are given opportunities ahead of me are not taking their chances. I want him to be angry. I want him to be frustrated. I want him to want to play. That's the sort of things. Logically, what do you expect? If man is not playing, January is the next time where you can think about your futures and what you want to do or not do. So logically, he's going to be anxious over it. This is a guy that Klopp's bigging up, Ronaldinho's bigging up, Brazilian national team. Everyone knows the man's a talent. Still needs to develop, still needs to, and them things there. But I understand it. And for me, I don't understand why he isn't given more minutes off the bench. He's a good option. And he is a bit bewildering how 1 minute he signed the deal. I know he's had the injury and we need to work him back into it. And I can't lie, I do think Martinelli struggles with playing 90 minutes, because he's always getting cramps and things, as you used to see last season with Smith Rowe. But yeah, man, I think he should get more minutes. I don't understand it really, especially, I don't disrespect Lacazette and what he brings to the table, but especially while we're unclear with the long-term futures of Lacazette, probably Aubameyang, the longer he stops scoring goals. Look at we're in issue. So I want Martinelli to get that opportunity. If we talk why I want him to play as well, is because other youngsters are getting chances. And there were times where Martinelli was the talisman. He was the Smith Rowe and Saka before them. Now, I'm not saying he was doing what they were doing, but he was a beacon of hope. He was pressing. Like for me, Arsenal Man City's probably remembered in the cup, probably remembered for Thingy. Ronison just showing he's not levels. But I remember him and Lacazette setting levels. I remember Martinelli in particular gassing people. Now, obviously, he's been dealt a shorthand for all the players on the cusp of the first team, in that there's no Europe. You ain't got all them league games there. There is the occasional FA Cup and Carabao Cup, assuming you're in there, but you're going to struggle. For me, I think Martinelli will get his chance. I think people need to also understand, this guy was playing at Etano a couple of years ago. He's still extremely inexperienced, so it's not a given. But at the same time, he should be getting more minutes. It's as simple as that. He should be playing a lot more, should be playing more significantly, And again, I hope he does, because I don't want another wasted season. I hear all of this. We've got to work him back into fitness and things. But away from Martinelli, I think fans are a bit hypocritical, because they cry about competition, cry about rotation, and then it's always always doom and gloom when we win for the man that's not involved, and when we lose, it's always the magic men that are there. Everyone gets their time. There's still 31 odd games left in the Premier League. Forgive me if I'm wrong and my maths is poor. There's a lot of narratives. I would like to see him get an opportunity, because he doesn't strike me as someone that isn't going to train well, and Arteta's a stickler for training well. So yeah, man, I think Martinelli should get a lot more minutes. I think, we can't expect him or Balogun to be these strikers if they're not going to learn these hard lessons, like with Balogun against Brentford, like with last season on the last day where Martinelli had a good game, but he struggled physically against West Brom in terms of being a hold-up man with the centre halves. This is what he needs to learn. For me as well, I think Martinelli's got it, man. He presses well. He's probably better in the air than the two strikers we have ahead of him. He's a good option for the squad. He can develop. Again, I think there's a lot of refinement to do. I think sometimes the youthful pressing and over exuberance, while it's commendable, sometimes if we look at it on the other hand, that can actually be quite wasteful. And sometimes you can actually, through just aimlessly pressing and stuff, you can actually do more harm to your team shape than good. But I like it with Martinelli, man. I think there's no reason why he can't get minutes, really and truly. And I just think there's something tactically that Martinelli isn't doing, or Arteta isn't necessarily filled with confidence. I don't think he fancies Tierney and Martinelli together as a left pairing. So I think unless a miracle happens, that one day is gone. I know at one point we did see the Saka and Martinelli off that left thrive. So I think he could do a madness. Is he a 9 or a winger? I mean, the man himself said he prefers to play on the left. Mikel Arteta says he sees him as somewhere that can play across all the front positions, and I believe so. I don't see why you can have a preference, but Martinelli should be able to affect the game off the left, off the right, through the middle. I think I hope we get it right with Martinelli because he signed a new deal not too long ago. So clearly we know this man's got big potential. Arteta, for what it's worth, he does seem to get quite pissed off, pardon my language, when asked about Martinelli and minutes, specifically about Martinelli. So he knows there's that. And obviously one thing going against Martinelli, let's be real, again, he needs opportunities and he should have been, but the team's found a decent sort of form. It's not about individual players, it's about the collective. We could, I did think Martinelli or Lacazette could have started with Aubameyang or both of them ahead of him and gone with two up front against Brentford. But we need to keep some perspective. 12 points. I mean, 12 possible points. 10. We got 10 actual ones on the board. There's not going to be one too many opportunities. Again, maybe Lacazette's cameo off the bench against Brighton might tip the balance for Arteta to start him in the next game against Palace. I don't think that's going to happen. Saka and Smith Rowe. In Saka's case, I don't know how much minutes he'll get for England, but if there's minutes in the tank, Smith Rowe's going to play off the left, Saka through the middle. Now, arguably, Odegaard could be dropped off that last game and move Smith Rowe in there and free up a position for an attacking player. But same way, you can't really do that. So there's spots for places. But I do fundamentally agree with people that he needs more minutes. And if I was him, of course, I'd be anxious because the club gassed me. I was playing 1 minute. It's a bit bewildering. He's gone from, I won't say breakout star, but he had his breakout moment. And it seems like he's gone back to being a youth little rotation option. Like at this moment, I'm surprised he's not got one too under 23 appearances just to keep ticking over and get minutes in the legs. People need to remember as well, Martinelli's got a long way to go in terms of development of like from a tactical point of view and technically and whatnot. You look at what he's just joined this sort of level really from Eternal, and you can see it in the way he and Arteta speak. So there's a lot he needs to go through really, especially so he just needs to keep working. And for me, it's a good thing. If you've got unhappy players and limited spots for positions, then boy, you make sure you play in it. Now, Arteta, it seems like most managers, he's got his favourites. But for me, if I'm Martinelli, go give him a headache. Arteta should be thinking, man, Crystal Palace on next Monday, and do I bring in Aubameyang and Laka? Do I not play a Laka? Do I bring in Martinelli, Saka and Smith Rowe? Go and give him headaches. Go and present him with issues. We've got to remember, Martinelli was actually primarily meant to be under 23s. He made a big impression under Emery. It's like with Smith Rowe, has had a great 10 months, but he's only been at this level for 10 months. He will have his time. People will drop off. I hope so. I'm going to be peed off. And if he is loaned out in January, that baffles me because you probably have to look. Balogun probably stays. Balogun going to get minutes, or they both going to go on loan. If they both went out on loan, Eddie and Ketty, I don't know what's going on for this contract stuff. Lacazette the same. What's going on? So all of a sudden, Aubameyang goes off to AFCON and it wouldn't surprise me if that's a time where, when in Partey's absence, in Aubameyang's absence, if people don't take opportunities and complicate things as they should, stay patient. Look at Ramsdale. Now, Ramsdale's obviously different. You bought him for 30 million. There was going to be some opportunity at some point. Given to him. But he came in, shut his mouth, did what he needed to do. I felt Leno was dropped unfairly at a time, but he conceded 5, got his opportunity. That's his spot. When you get your opportunity, make sure you take it, really and truly. Make sure you take it. But for what it's worth, and again, you've obviously got to discount the papers that are saying it as well. Gabriel Martinelli could reportedly force through an Arsenal transfer exit due to his lack of playing time. Martinelli, 20 years of age, is becoming anxious over his Gunners' future after just appearing twice in the league this season. As you lot know, if you scroll the way down on transfer mark, he's made 2 appearances in the league, 2 appearances in the cup, getting 1 assist. So again, he needs to start scoring, but it's very difficult. He got 71 minutes. We was all poor. It was a disjointed lineup against Brentford. That tax applied. You didn't do too much. 79 minutes against Chelsea. We was terrible, but you never done too much, really and truly, if we're real. Still think he should have been given opportunities. For me to look at all of this and to know man's been bench warming at times, I felt you could have come on against Spurs because we weren't really managing the game well and they were getting on top of us, and your youthful exuberance helps you. The City game, it is what it is. We're down to 10 men. It flips up everything. Against Brentford, felt you could have come on. Brighton, I did feel you could come on. I did want the positioning to change. I did say you were Lacazette. Didn't do much. It obviously only got 14 minutes against West Brom, and he won the penalty against AFC Wimbledon. But apart from that, it's a two-way street. I think people need to understand multiple truths can live. The man's 20, so we need to know what we're doing with him, really, because he's made 52 appearances and got 12 goals for Arsenal. He's played 30 times and got 5 Premier League goals. There's no smoke without fire. And me personally, I know Arteta and Emre can be different people, but I don't know how Emre can find a use for him, and he's just some sort of squad dunny under this done. But anyways, people, he's been an unused sub in his past 5 games. Of course, I'd be vexed if I'm training well, I'm doing well, I'm not playing. I want you to be. So when your chance comes, you take it, people. He's only played 30 times in the Premier League since joining us in 2019. We do need to remember there was an injury and whatnot as well. For what it's worth, if we go back to Arteta's previous comments on the lad, have I missed one out? I think I did. Apologies, people. He said he needs time. He's so willing and so anxious that it can block his development sometimes as well. You expect a young lad to be impatient, but I don't think he shows any different impatience than maybe a Tavares, a Lokonga, even Smith Rowe and Saka. I don't think it's any different. I think they're all over enthusiastic and stuff, as they should be. They're young, impressionable, somewhat naive young men. They just want to play football. Sometimes he won't understand my decisions, but the only reason I make those is to help him. I think that goes two-way street. I do think he won't understand some, but at the same time, I want to play, really and truly. There are a few things that have to be done better, and one of those is to manage when he doesn't play. You have to know how to suffer when you're on the bench. You have to be able to swallow that pause, all your ego and all your anger, all your willingness to play the game. And I mean, he says that sort of stuff about Nketiah, if I'm honest with you. I think this is the same article as well. If I scroll down, people, and that's what would annoy me the most if I'm a Martinelli, because to go with what we already had, we've brought in players that are all under the age of under 23. I think against Brighton, our starting lineup technically could have played, or one of them games they could have played for in the Premier League too. Been a Premier League 2 reserve side. So that's what would annoy me the most. If we're trying to do this youngster thing and I'm Martinelli on the cusp of doing things for Brazil, it's a myth. And in a World Cup year as well, you could have been an outside pick for Brazil's men. I'm sure he's got ambition and them things there. So, that's probably crippling all of that sort of stuff. And I would imagine him to become restless. I don't think he took advantage in his 148 minutes this season so far, or his 2 Premier League appearances. But at the same time, maybe the Spurs game, anyone that played might have been a hero. It's one of them ones, really. He's just unfortunate. Anyone that would have played, if Aubameyang got dropped like last year, Lacazette starts and this happens, they would have been the heroes. It probably just was our day. So yeah, my concern is just on individually, because I haven't really seen Arteta improve individual players widespread. I think he's improved Pepe somewhat in terms of all aspects of his game. And as a whole team, we're still not scoring. We've hit a 31-year low for goals scored. Yes, discount the fact that we played some good teams at the start, but we finished 9th for goals last season, very low for not just goals, chance creation, what we're doing with possession, touches really in the opposition box. We all know how stagnant our patterns of play and all these things are. So I'm a bit concerned, really and truly, in relation to what he's going to bring to the table. So yeah, man, I think I'll have his point. And I don't know where the mirror is going about. At one point, Martinelli was one of the Gunners' most exciting talents and was tipped to improve. He still is. Come on now. At one point, man was saying Smith Rowe isn't going to quite be the guy and all these things. I remember when Saka, even though he was badding it up, people were sitting there and saying he might not be good enough in that because he wasn't doing the flash in the pan stuff. So I don't know, but we need to remember, man, Martinelli needs to play, but we need to stop acting like there's a divine right. He needs to get opportunities. The man's 20 years of age, 21 later this year. You're not going to learn anything, you know. And again, it's difficult to build up match fitness and show what you can do. If, for instance, he played these 2 games, he missed up until Burnley. He plays against Spurs or Brighton. Again, you know, it feels like we always need a storyline, and it's going to be this one. But it is what it is, man. It is what it is. I forgot how young Gabby is. He was extreme. He was extremely under Emre. He was extreme. I think you mean to say under Emre, but Emre gave him game time to get confidence. Martinelli, we all know when he came was very good, but all of a sudden he started losing form under Arteta. Even Lacazette and Partey, we know in Atletico Madrid. I mean, to be fair, Lacazette, if anything, you know. So what are we gonna say if Lacazette gained form last season? Really? How can Martinelli or any young striker believe Arteta when they see our attack not playing well and still not getting minutes should play? Exactly, no. And to be fair with you, I think it's a bit of a poison chalice. Definitely playing through the middle at Arsenal. It doesn't matter if it's generally Lacazette, Aubameyang, Balogun, Eddie. For all their criticisms you may be able to say about them, there's no chance creation. And I hope with Arteta looking to solidify the foundations of this club with Tomiyasu, Ramsdale, Tierney's there, obviously the boys in Ben White and Gabriel. Hopefully, when we lock that down, and I hope we hope to lock down the middle, we might see the handbrake with Arteta come off, and we might see an Arsenal team that plays to the strength and actually matches up to saying the following names, like whatever you've got to say about Martinelli, Balogun, Pepe, Lacazette, all of these guys, they might not be amazing. They might be, you know, you might feel this guy isn't good enough for that guy, but that's definitely enough firepower to present problems. I'm not saying it's the best, but anyone that understands football, you don't know defense wants to play against that. Same way there's a lot of other teams in the Prem. If you understand ball, they might not be anything to write home about, but you don't want to play against that. And it's time you start looking like so. We've got an effing cannon on our chest. If anyone's meant to clap it off, it's meant to be us. Like you said, DG, Martinelli wasn't at a big club in Brazil. As great as he looked early on, he's still raw and he's only 20. Not every player breaks through and is shelling it at that age. Most aren't. Exactly. And to be honest, most people have different journeys. Certain people struggle and then they strive. Certain people strive and then they struggle. I always tell you lot about the honeymoon period. We said this with Saka. You know, everything's going well. There's going to be a time the fans aren't going to just keep calling you our sweet younger brother and little chilly and things. They're going to ask what's going on. Smith Rose had it. Joe Willock's had it. You know, Lacazette, experienced player, got it. Aubameyang, and I'm not saying this is away from constructive criticism. I'm talking about pitchforks. All of a sudden, Aubameyang weren't a leader and all these things when he stopped scoring, despite their same certain individuals saying he was when we won the FA Cup. So there's only certain sort of luxuries. As I said, Smith Rowe, 1 minute, you know, the best talent since this guy and that guy. Then let's be real, you know, he was on the cusp of the first team one couple years, injured, going on loan, Leipzig. He's not even fit. You're wondering what's going on. Around the period he got his opportunity last season, you're sitting there and thinking, yo, maybe him, Eddie, and Joe, they need to keep it moving or do what they need to do to go and develop. And, you know, shout out to Emil Smith Rowe. His opportunity came, he ran with it. So yeah, man, it is what it is. And to be fair to you, with Martinelli, you know, the first job for Arteta is to get 3 points, and the first job for him is to find a team that works. Now, if I look at it, you found a team that didn't work in the first 3 games, and like I said, it's not all Martinelli, all Pepe, or whoever. Even Collagen actually had nothing to do with it, or Marie. You know, it was just a shock of a start to a season. You didn't find it. You found something that worked in these last 4 games or so. So as much as I can have my opinions about he should or shouldn't have started, you know, you've got to just find 3 points. Obviously, the flip side of that is a lot of what I say, at least for me, if I saw certain players playing like I am with our back five now, and we're winning, losing, or drawing, I can get behind it, provided there's something to get behind. I wonder how a more experienced manager would handle Martinelli. Pep and Foden come to mind. To be fair to you, I think Pep must have played Foden a lot more, but they said the same things. He's not playing, he needs to leave. He'll never break in at City. They were saying all that. So it all depends, man. Some minutes off the bench would be the bare minimum for Martinelli, especially when we're struggling in attack like against Brighton. Personally, I didn't understand the Maitland-Niles substitution instead of Martinelli. On the other hand, I get it. Time wasting. We're settling for a point. It's defensive. We need to get 3 points. It's not just about giving this guy, that guy minutes. It's about getting 3 points or getting a point or getting something. But on the other hand, I don't get it. As I said, Lacazette or Aubameyang should have started together for me, and then by that logic, Martinelli, apologies, is probably going to end up coming on. Folks are in desperation mode, looking for that magic man to solve our scoring problems. I mean, I can't blame fans. They're always looking for a hero, innit? Seeing you spitting the facts on Harry stream earlier, keep doing your thing. Come on, Oman. Shout out to Harry as well. Get the likes up. 60 is disrespectful. You lot are doing me dirty again. There's 178 of you locked in here, people. Hit the like button. Unexpected high bills for those of you who do not do such, people. But yeah, it is what it is. One sec. YouTube is saying. Sorry. Oh. Now we're back. So yeah, man, that it is what it is in relation to Martinelli. I think we've just got to keep some perspective on the young lad. He should be playing a lot more, but it's not doom and gloom. You need to earn it. You know, Saka is playing rightly or wrongly because he's earned it. It's not just a young player thing with Saka. You're the best option off that right hand side, and actually a lot more to our game. Our attacking moves, how he drifts inside, he's made himself central to that. Smith Rowe got his opportunity and made himself central to what we're doing, to the point where, quote unquote, he could be shoehorned into the team whether we win, lose, or draw off that left hand side. Martinelli's got to get his opportunity to do that, but he's got to make it so that it. Remember, there's been points where it didn't matter where Saka played, he just needed to get in. Now I'm happy Saka's been playing more stationary on the right or the left, but there was a time we saw him play centre mid, 10, left back, right back. He just had to get him in. Martinelli needs to make himself that when his opportunities come. Doesn't matter where you're playing, what you give to the team. We're at a disadvantage when you're out of it. Like Arteta in his mind thinks now at current with the Halem boys, maybe a couple other young players. It's down to them to do that, really and truly. But you need to be given an opportunity to do such. And yeah, man, it's going to be interesting how you know, interesting how we manage things, because so far this season, what probably need to assess what's going on with Balogun and maybe going out on loan in Jan. Where we're speaking about Martinelli now, folks. You know, I'm sure Maitland-Niles obviously at the start, Leno. You know, again, every week there's a new player that's not happy or something's going on. And to be fair, they all knew the situation. To be fair to the club, you knew the situation was going in. There's gonna be unhappy people. What I would say in general, sorry, with exception to Martinelli, just in general, as much as you clearly see, I need Martinelli to get minutes. It's not an individual player thing. That I don't care about no one's feelings. I want the best team out there that is going to get us victory or get us something from the game. I don't care about this is a season to blood these guys and do all of that, unless you're that back five who obviously we spent a handsome outlay on. So, boy, that's that where Martinelli's concerned, folks. Let me see what you lot are saying. I'd be unhappy under Arteta. You're probably one of them basic players. You'll be all right, Tino, man. How much longer would you give Pepe? Longer for what? I mean, what? You still thinking Pepe is going to be our talisman, our Alexis Sanchez, or our Mo Salah, or when you think of Leicester, you think of Vardy and all the other associations? No, I think Pepe is a frustrating rotation option. I think his numbers are deceivingly better than what people give it credit for. I think he's become a more all-rounded player. I think he's a better player than Arsenal fans give him credit for. And for me, he would be utilized within the team, really and truly. Pepe had his opportunities, didn't play bad, but didn't have a game like we all had with a very impressive, convincing team collective performance against Spurs. So it's a bit of a myth, but Pepe's, football fans have a real short memory. I'm not saying you can rest on your laurels, but 1 minute Pepe, I can't lie. First half of that season, I thought Pepe would be one to leave in Jan or the summer. Then, obviously, second half of the season, he's saving Arteta's bacon. How many times? The team that we're playing in the Premier League next week, do you lot remember, and not at home, don't remember the home game because we was relying on Kieran Tierney to break teams down. Hopefully, we learned from that. Remember the away one? I think we won like 4-1, 3-1 or something, but it weren't that thing. The scoreline flatters it. We turned it on in the second half. Really? So it is one of them. And I just think Pepe, he's frustrating, but I just think we don't play to not even his strengths. At the football we're trying to play, he can play in tight spaces, but there's no coincidence when you look at half of Pepe's career highlights at this club. It's against the run of play and all those sort of things. So yeah, man. It's one of them ones, folks. To be honest with you, e.g., would you sacrifice Saka or Smith Rowe to get success now, like buying players in their positions and to sell them? Nah, unless you're bringing in fucking a prime Mesut Ozil, Real Madrid sort of Mesut Ozil, and you're bringing me Alexis Sanchez in his prime, or you're bringing me like Messi and Neymar and Mbappe, and them man there, then Saka's there, man. Fair analysis, bro. I tried that, man. I tried to be. Once again, Carlos, the papers. Talking about feelings, do you feel Pepe is too emotional when he plays? I don't know. It's difficult because I can't read into him. I would say he's... No, I don't think so, really. If anything, I need emotion to come out a bit more from Pepe, really. Seems like he takes too much things just gracefully in his stride. E.g., when are you going to do a link up with Turkish? Don't know, man. Can't give you an answer. Not a clue, bro. Not a clue. Big up TW. Appreciate that. Arteta isn't having a headache over Martinelli not starting, so he has to, in these cup games, show that he's ready. He's ready or have shown. Fair play. Think he'll go out on loan? Nah, man, because of unless some striker comes in January, I don't know. I don't think so, really. Appreciate you, lot. Penny needs to drop for Pepe. I think it did drop last season because I've seen a Pepe that's still frustrating, but I see a more all-rounded Pepe. I see one that defends a lot better, one that wins a lot more aerial duels, one that's more switched on, where before it's still a lot of the same, but he would do things like he might just do something really magical in the 78th minute. But other than that, you're doing wrong things. I do think he's a bit introverted. He's a bit keeps himself to himself, and I think his personality could come out a bit more. But personality transpires in different ways because by the same token, I think because of that, he comes across as an extremely confident individual. We just have to accept that he's not going to be the talisman of this club until something happens. The penny needs to drop for Pepe if he wants to advance to that level, really. Every time we don't have a good game, I'm just thankful I don't see Bellerin on the pitch no more. That's harsh. Pepe seems to be one of those guys which Arsenal fans need numbers for him to have had a good game. I can't lie. I think Pepe is slowly becoming one of them agenda players. Like you either lie and say he played mad amazing, or you act up and say he's played mad shit. Where I don't know if it's what you lot want to draw from that. Appreciate the Trinidad's locked in. Appreciate that, Levi. Yeah, man, it is what it is. Should we move on to Saliba, folks? Allegedly, where Saliba's concerned, good news, he'll finally get his opportunity to play for Arsenal Football Club, according to reports. Now, for me, I'm actually 5 minutes into the Marseille versus Lille game at the weekend that Saliba played. I watched the game against Galatasaray. I've watched most of his games this season as I've been following him since Arsenal signed him and before. I'm no genius on Saliba, but as an Arsenal fan, I want to know what we're getting. And what I will say is kind of the same rhetoric we've been talking about Martinelli. Arsenal fans or fans in general, we need to keep some perspective. Very few things in football like life are black and white. You can have your opinion, but you need to consider the others. My problem with Arsenal Football Club is, to me as a naive fan, it just seemed like there was a big song and dance made about Saliba coming to this club. Centre half for a decade. Future 28 million on a Rolls Royce of a centre half. Arsenal didn't say it, but France and Mbappe of centre halves. I remember do you remember the video, his announcement video, how it was quite good? It showed a young man in an Arsenal shirt as a kid, private jet, all of these things. You loaned him out. Then we had him out on loan, and then he can't play in the cup. And then he's come back and he's missed half a season, basically. And then he's gone out on loan again. And then I don't know what's going on now. I still think his future is in the balance. I think Arsenal should be giving him a new deal. But yeah, I don't think there's never been any appearance of clarity. I'm not going to lie. I'm not making it about Ben White. And those of you that understand football understand me. But one reason as to, I think, in my head, I always find myself saying to this, how far does Saliba truly have to go in Mikel Arteta's book? Now, I say that because I say this. Ben White, no disrespect to him, I don't think he's currently worth 50 million. And away from the price tag and the projected move to Arsenal, I do like Ben White. I think he's very calm on the ball. I think he is a good defender. But when I look at the IQ of what I thought he was going to be to what he is as a fan, I don't think he's. I'm not saying he's bad. He's developing. I think he's quite naive. A lot of the things I'm seeing, he's actually behind in a lot. Now, I'm not saying that as a cause for concern. I'm just purely saying that because I look at myself and, the two don't have to be intertwined. But if you're willing to spend 50 million on him, which I think he's currently ahead of Saliba, but he don't look significantly better than him. How far is William Saliba off? And what I feel Saliba could have got minutes if we're gonna do this joke thing, like play Mustafi in the Europa League and Marie's just looking like a pansy in the league. Then I think he could have got opportunities. But I did understand him going out on loan without a doubt. Minutes are currency. The man's got a lot to work on. Against Galatasaray, defend. Last 8 minutes were added on at the end of the first half. But there was an incident. He's positionally he's out of shape. And he's been picked. His pockets have been picked. There's a lot he can improve on defensively in the air for someone who is, quite tall, 6'4". I think there's an improvement. I think recovery, his positioning, where if you're playing in the back three, when to cover certain spaces, I think there's a lot he needs to work on. Looking over your shoulder, following runners, being switched on from set pieces, in terms of offensive headers and that. Anytime you watch Saliba, he's winning headers and that from an offensive point of view, but he's never putting them on target. My point being, there's a lot for him to learn. There's many things he does. He conceded a penalty this season as well, rather foolishly. Well, he didn't concede one. He gave the ball away, I remember. And in another game, he's dropped his teammate in it because he's played a silly square pass and his teammates had to make a foul in the box. There's a lot he needs to work upon. And these things do cost you points as a manager. But I do think there's potential in him. But fans need to calm it down. It's the same fans that cry about Martinelli and don't admit when he has shaky games. It's the same fans that put unrealistic expectations on Balogun and this, that, and the other, and then turn around and call these guys overrated. It'd be a shame if Saliba doesn't play a game. There's going to be big expectation on him. Personally, it weren't looking too promising going to Marseille at the start because, I remember the Sao Pauli's comments. He rates him and he speaks about him, but it was almost like he didn't really fancy Saliba and whatnot. But he's done well. He's played in the back three, he's played in the back four. He's getting opportunities in Europe. Just needs to go and get 20, 30 league appearances, come back more experienced, still going to learn tough lessons and complicate things because Ben White and Gabriel, I want that to succeed as a partnership. It don't mean I want it to be the partnership forever. You look at City. City's a flavor of the month thing. 1 minute it's Ruben Diaz and Laporte. Stones somehow forces his way in and whatnot. I think even Ake did a thing. I want that. And for us, if we can get it right, there's resale value. Maybe not so much on Ben White unless something mad happens because we signed him for 50 mil. But in terms of your investment, that's 50 million, quote unquote, should be well spent. You spent 28 million on Saliba. If he's meant to be a Rolls Royce and the Mbappe of centre halves, then he should end up at the Spanish Giants one day. Do you get it? And you've got Gabriel, who for me, I think he's not going to be at Arsenal long. Honest to God, I don't think Gabriel, if he keeps developing, I don't think he's going to spend his prime here as long as we mess around. I've said it before. I think beyond Saka, I personally think Martinelli and Gabriel have the ability to play for top clubs. And I think Saliba, if he develops, does. He's very cultured. He's very much the modern day centre half. Very good on the ball. But when he's pressed, he looks a bit shaky. Sometimes he gets caught flat-footed. There's a lot to like in Saliba's game, but there's a lot to improve upon and whatnot. I would say maybe if Arteta would endear himself to the fans if he showed a bit more bravery with a couple of these young players. But I don't think you can have everything. You can't get 3 points, play all these young players, score all these goals, do all of these things. They make no mistakes and they just fly off. Fans want everything and it's not necessarily fair. But for what it's worth, people, before I hone in on some more Saliba comments, the Daily Mail has allegedly said William Saliba will be welcomed back by Arsenal next season and integrated into the first team after impressing at Marseille. The 27 million defender is on his third loan spell since arriving in North London. He's obviously spent time at Nice, returned to his previous club in Saint Etienne, and obviously spent time currently at Marseille. As I've said already, people, make sure you're at my watch along over on Twitch at 7:15. Again, the link's pinned to the pin message, but I'm sure I'll be a nice guy and slap it there. Just a quick little shameless promo, and then we're back into this, people. Bringing this back up, yeah, man. And this is why Arsenal fans are a bit more anxious, And again, he's still only going to be 21 when he returns to the club. And this is stuff like this was scaring me as well. The number 4 being stripped off. Hopefully, he gets it back next season or gets a better number. But apparently, William Saliba is to be integrated into Arsenal's first team from next season after his loan at Marseille comes to an end. I'm sure he's contracted until 2023. Now, I could be wrong and it's 24. I hope it's 24. There's an option in this deal and things. But this is surely at 20 years of age. If you think all of this, you can't really let these men go into their last 2 years of their deals. As we know, we signed him in 2019. He's yet to make an appearance. And as someone that watched him at under 23s level here and there, people, he got a regard in that. Like, there's a lot he needs to improve. But again, this is what I'm not saying it to criticize him. The man's 20 odd, really and truly. Apparently, according to Fabrizio Romano, the Gunners have been tracking the Frenchman all year and are satisfied with his progress. I mean, they should be looking at him all year because he's our investment, 28 million. You know, we should be seeing what sort of level he's in. And so far, his development has done well. Marseille's doing well. Apparently, the report also claims Arsenal will trust Saliba to become a first-team player from the start of next season after playing a key role for Sao Paulo's Marseille this term. As you know, he's featured 9 times, helping them to an unbeaten start in their first 5 matches of the season, but they've actually had back-to-back defeats, people, in the league. Really, really and truly. So, yeah. Moving away from that, Saliba has made frustration over the lack of game time at the Emirates very well known. The defender complained to Guendouzi on Instagram that he was locked up in North London last season. I mean, I don't know if all of that sort of thing, people. It is what it is. It is what it is. And also, we know he's gone through some personal problems. He's gone through a lot of shit in his life at 20 years of age. So hopefully next season is more smooth sailing for him. And to be fair, you know, Edu did name drop him in his latest thing, you know. So we'll see what happens in that regards, people. So but yeah, when you look at Saliba, there's foundation there. But it's again for me with Arsenal, generally, it's not just about bringing in potential. Everyone's got potential, you know. Everyone's got potential. It's a bit sad, but you know, if I go look back to my school days, you know, like 11 years ago, 26 now, there was guys that could have been footballers, that could have been other things, and certain other devices took them astray, and they are, you know, made other life choices. If we look at football, potential is just potential. You know, have we got a proactive plan for where we want Saliba to be at 20, where we want him to be at 25, if still here, and beyond that, what we want him to be like in 12 months, in 6 months, you know, what we need him certain areas to improve, because I don't really like hearing what Saliba's good at. I know you're good with a football. Tell me about the defending. It's like any sign, it's like Ramsdale. I don't want you to tell me about his strengths. Show me his weaknesses, because that's what we need to improve. The problem with me at Arsenal historically is we get these players, and I don't want it to be like we've seen previously, where we've got I don't want it to be Martinelli, Saka, Smith Rowe, all of these guys that are in and around the team to be what it's been in previous years at Arsenal. These guys come in 1-2 seasons, they're doing all right. Certain players, you know, 5 games, they look like they're back to business. The next 5, they're shaky. Certain other players, 1 minute they're centre mids, then they're wingers, then they're this, then they're that. We need a proactive plan. Now, plans go left and go right, but generally, I'm not naive. I expect Arsenal to have a plan, but that's all I'm just saying as a fan. And to highlight the inexperience, he's still learning, people. He ain't made an appearance at Arsenal at first team level. Marseille, he's played 9 times. He played 22 times for Nice and 36 times for St. Etienne. So at this rate, you'd probably back him, despite coming through St. Etienne and going back on loan and joining Nice for half a season. You probably back him to, by the end of the season, Marseille will be the club he's played the most times for. And again, you're not even scraping 100 appearances in that as a centre half. Fair enough, he's got 55 Liga apps, but again, not 100 first team top flight games. You're not going to be a 30 centre half, are you, by that time? So I believe in Saliba. I like to see the clarity, but I think we're far from done where that said, people. And it'd be interesting to see what we do at centre half, because, you know, for me, I would, in an ideal world, you know, you have the option of a back 3 or a back 4, or the options of being able to play 2 centre halves, of a William Saliba, of a Gabriel, obviously of a Ben White. I'm personally keen to see how much Tomiyasu's ability to play centre half is going to wane on Arteta in terms of, you know, Chambers. You've got to make a decision over that. Holding, I know he bigs him up. You've got to make a decision over that. I know the homegrown issue and makes it something, but you know, you've got to make a decision. But again, for me, probably looking at it, I wouldn't mind Saliba, Gabriel, Ben White, the ability to play Tomiyasu as a centre half. probably be my 4 centre-halves. And then, well, I like to say pure options. So Holding at this moment in time probably still be in there. I'd probably let Marie and Chambers go if I'm completely honest with you. And then obviously you bring in Tomiyasu there, and that should be your defense locked down for centre-half options for a sec. So I'll be keen to see what happens. But yeah, it'd be lovely, man. And again, there's a lot of talk about Saliba's move. So again, I'm pretty sure he's not naive, but everything's going to be scrutinized. I'd say more scrutinized than Ben White already this season. With every good game Saliba plays, why didn't we bring him in sooner? With every bad game, have Arsenal been ripped off? So yeah, man, it is what it is. And for me as an Arsenal fan, I'm excited because France has been a gold mine. Now, Arsenal are not the Arsenal we was, of Highbury and that. So we haven't really been getting them sick French players. And I feel especially there's been some very decent centre halves. And so for me to be able to see us grab a player with some sort of potential, it does make you feel confident. But potential is just potential, folks. So where Saliba is concerned, that's all I've got to say, folks. So yeah, that's that. What are you lot saying, people? I've been missing out a lot. A man said it gives him Jovino vibes. I wonder if Ben White will bump to centre defensive mid long term. I hope not. Predictions for Italy versus Spain tonight, DG. As I said, make sure you join me on Twitch because we'll be doing a watch along for that. 2-0 Italy. So it means it's going to be something else. If Martinelli is not given first team opportunities, he should leave because our club is a shambles. Ed Arteta and they do have screwed over our club. We will never recover even in 5 years. Pick up yourself, DG. If it is true that Martinelli wants to leave, I can't really blame him. If he wants to play elsewhere, I wish him luck. YouTube's moving mad. Just got a notification for this live while being in his live, bro. YouTube do me there all the time. Next season, having Ben White adds to the British quota, which means lower quality British players can be sold/released. So, boy, a couple man must be shaking, really and truly. Saliba's weakness are just his heavy feet, effort plays, and awareness plays, all things that can get better. He has the frame and natural ability to be among the best. And he does see agility is going to need to improve as well. Everyone get the likes up quickly. Ain't checked, but I know we ain't hit 200. Not even 100 likes. You lot are violating. You lot must be pretenders. You can't be a part of the nation if you ain't hitting the like button. Stylish is on to you lot. Interesting, man. Is Arsenal so good that Martinelli can't even get 15 minutes off the bench? Frederick, boy, I don't believe so. But we'd have to take that one up with Arteta, man. We actually have to take that one up with Arteta. Let me see if there's any other Arsenal related news, folks. Obviously, don't be shy in getting your opinions in. Ivan Toney rumors, a bit of a myth. Serge Aurier would never join enemy Arsenal due to respect for Tottenham. Okay. Punching, aren't you, mate? It's like saying I'm never going to get with Beyonce out of respect for Kelly Rowland. You never had a chance from the start, so I'm not even going to bring that up. Shout out Serge Aurier. Like you would, well, stop capping, man. Respect for Spurs, you're just capping, man. Like you wouldn't whore yourself out for an Arsenal shirt. Like you wasn't there in pictures before you joined Spurs. Allow it, man. Chatting nonsense. I'm not even going to bring that up on screen. You absolute capper, Aurier. You are chatting the most doo-doo. Get a load of this guy. I'm shaking just reading the title, just stepped in. I hope Arteta gives Gabby more minutes. I think he'll get it, man. I think he'll get it. DG, do you think Emre would do a better job with this team than he had? I think you're meaning to say it's impossible to know. I think we're looking at Emre with a bit of rose tints now as well, maybe. Real talk, Arteta's treatment of Martinelli is as bad as Ollie's treatment of Van der Beek. I mean, I can't tell you what to think, but I mean, where's the thought process? I do think there's a common theme in both players should be playing and things. I do think it's completely different. I would just love to know how you reach that conclusion. DG, what are you drinking? We don't have that where I'm from. Is it a sports drink? Right, you don't have that. Lucas egg, bro. I shouldn't even be advertising because what? Where's DG sponsorship and that? Myth. How many games did Martinelli play last season in injury ravaged? Yeah. There was a point before we signed, well, before when Arteta first came in, sorry, didn't he play under him? Let's see the 1920 season. This was Emre's year. He got doing bits in the FA Cup. Obviously, he got 6 minutes against Newcastle. He played I can't lie, he played a lot more football, but it's mad to think this is the same Martinelli from 2019 that was getting all these football opportunities and whatnot. It's crazy. 2019-20, 14 appearances, 2 goals, 1 assist in the league. As we know, he had a knee injury, and he was, that was an injury-ravaged campaign, so we'll have to see. But he did, to be fair, he did have a period getting in the team. He has played games under Arteta. I don't think it's quite fair to say it's the same as Van der Beek, to be fair to you. Now that I look at the data, like, if we look at last season where Martinelli's concerned very quickly, folks, again, knee injury played a part, but he got 83 minutes against Sheffield United, but he played some he got an hour against West Bromwich Albion with a game where I think he didn't play that amazing. He got 90 against Newcastle. He got an assist. There was a time he was getting a look in the team. He did his thing against Crystal Palace. Like Pepe, he had a strong-ish end to the season with, I'm forcing it, but he did get opportunities. When Van der Beek had a clean run like that, I don't think that's fair, bro. The way Gabby shook up Wimbledon left back a few weeks ago really impressed us. Wife, brother, and my kids. Our players either stagnate or regress, never improve. To be fair, I think Pepe was saving his job, to be fair to you, but fair play. You lot out in your numbers. You lot are feeling some sort of way. Sorry for hitting that must have been annoying for you lot to hear. People absolutely just smacked the mic. So it's quite interesting that. What else is there? What else have I got on these articles? Saliba. And it's interesting we're talking about Martinelli, people, because again, Ben White has had something to say, people. Ben White claims 6 million Emre signing is the most skillful player at Arsenal. Ben White has named Martinelli as Arsenal's most skillful footballer. Apparently he said this on Twitch. He said, I would probably go Martinelli. He's silky. He's been labeled as the talent of the century as well by Klopp, if we remember. So there's some important stuff there. What's this? This is how I just type in Arsenal all day. Odegaard reveals struggles at Real Madrid before Arsenal transfer. Let's see. Martin Odegaard admits he struggled to adapt to Real Madrid dressing room and found it difficult to make friends before returning to Arsenal this summer. I mean, of course you will. It's bare testosterone in not even the right level of testosterone. It's just bare testosterone, bare prima donnas, bare people that are used to everyone just doing whatever they say and waiting on them hand and foot and egos and all those sort of things. Of course, a young 16-year-old who is being told he has to train, he can train exclusively with the first team and play in the B team for games. Of course, that other players are going to look at him with envy. Of course, a young 16-year-old isn't going to impose himself in the locker room. So, of course, he's going to struggle to make friends. Maybe he'll make friends with a Ceballos and Asensio and these sort of men, but I don't know. Let's scroll the way down. Odegaard believes that the positive difference he has experienced with Arsenal's dressing room has made it easy to thrive. Of course, there were many tough periods. When asked about his time at Madrid, I experienced a lot with both the first and second team. I've been close to the best and the biggest. It made me stronger. I feel I have grown a lot on it. There was some tough periods, but also a lot of good that I have experienced. Being so close to the best in the world is so special. I've learned a lot from it. When you're at the highest level, it's not as easy to make friends and that kind of thing. So what? It's because them man don't want to make friends. They're here to get results. So are Arsenal here to make friends or get results? To play devil's advocate would be what I'm asking. At times, not when you are young and come from somewhere else, it can be tough. That was poor English. But it has made me stronger and I'm very happy and pleased to have experienced it. You live a little of your life outside, you become more left to yourself. It may not be the dressing room culture you are used to from a little closer to home. It is different. When asked about the difference between the two teams, he said it's quite large. I would say I think it's a bit like the biggest clubs in the world. Gets a little bit more scattered than that. So he's saying clattered. Apparently, Ben White's also been speaking. He's spoken how how him and his partner Gabriel have overcome the language barrier to form a decent looking defense. He's revealed that he and Gabriel click as a centre half partnership despite language problems. Let's scroll down, people. He doesn't speak much English. I don't speak Portuguese. There's not much we can say to each other, but we know what we have to do. We just click. And I think that's fantastic because it shows football. I want you to be able to speak. And Gabriel's English has been improving. But shows how football's a lovely universal language, man. Really and truly. I'm sure when they're ready to say how they feel, I'm sure despite maybe not knowing Portuguese or English, I'm sure both of them understand each other. Asked if Gabriel and White were gelling quicker than expected. Well, that's sorry, I'm not going to read that. That's Arteta. He's gassing up their team. So yeah, a bit disappointed by that article, but nonetheless, it's there, isn't it, folks? Let's be fair. Martinelli is not the player everyone thinks he is. He's not currently the player everyone thinks he is at this moment in time. I wouldn't say he's average, but everyone's allowed an Arsenal opinion. I can understand what Odegaard is saying. Remember when no Real Madrid players cheered his goal in training? I don't know about that. And I just think Real Madrid's not the place. If you want all of that, that's sounded like Disney Channel stuff, man. Martinelli, a goal scorer, can't enter a team lacking goals. Arteta's thought process is scary. I think FA is meant to say. Martinelli wasn't even from the first tier in Brazil and is the youngest out of the first team crop aside from B. He'll be okay. Fair enough. What else is there? Gabby is a raw talent. Sorry, Gabby ain't being given a fair chance. Kid is loaded with raw talent. You're right. But he has to earn it, man. Hopefully he earns it. Hopefully we look back and we say what a story this was and why did we need to speak about it, people, really and truly. Make sure you're hitting the like button if you haven't already, folks. 123 likes. We should not let a young player leave this early unless they were given time and fail to develop. Fair enough. People forget how people forget quickly how Martinelli and Balogun got thrown out around like hobbits versus Brentford. I mean, they would. They're playing against people physically stronger than them. They're coming into a disjointed, underwhelming, and understrength lineup in relation to Arsenal. So yeah, it makes sense why they stepped into that and why they kind of struggled in that regards within hindsight, if I'm completely honest. What's going on in the world of football? No, I'm seeing it again. Sir just said I would have never joined enemy Arsenal. I mean, once again, lol. Father of three has been given a suspended sentence for racially abusing Marcus Rashford, Jadon Sancho, and Bukayo Saka. Fair enough. Apparently, a Brazilian player kicks ref in the head, charged with attempted murder. What the hell is speaking of Brazil? What the hell is going on there, people? Brazilian footballer has been charged with attempted murder after kicking a referee in the head during a second division game, knocking him unconscious. William Ribeiro kicked referee Rodrigo Crivallo twice during Monday's match between Sao Paulo de Rio Grande and host Gennari de Vancasio Aires. The second time when the official lay on the ground. Again, I should share this with you. Look, just this is exactly what he's saying. The incident happened after, obviously, the referee didn't give Ribeiro Sao Paulo team a free kick. The match was suspended, and my man was taken to a local hospital after being knocked unconscious. Ribeiro was arrested at the stadium and charged with attempted murder. Fortunately, the referee's been released from, being in the medical room and whatnot. And yeah, man, that's an absolute mazza, really. And that tells you everything of where Arsenal, right? Because there's nothing else really. I did see there was some rumours that Arsenal will look to loan out Balogun in Jan if he doesn't continue to get any first team football. Right. Apparently, Kylian Mbappe's mother's full interview is to be released today as well. Why is everyone in that family want to talk? That must be jarring. What else is there to say? Trying to find some other Arsenal related things, but it seems like Martinelli and Saliba. That's it, folks. Them racist men are getting it now. A couple men are in solitary confinement for their whole set. Charles, they're gonna be shook. Man said in that case, Ramos has been getting away with attempted murder for years. Hit the like button if you haven't. I love you, DG, but that article was speculation. Martinelli didn't make a statement of any sort. I mean, yeah, man. All I said was all I've done is echo the article, man. I haven't said Martinelli wants to leave. In fact, my first words were they're making something out of nothing. Don't shoot the messenger. It's not even my message. I'm just reacting to these nonsense reports. I even said it's the Sun and the Mirror. Sorry, take it with a pinch of salt. G's DG. Hope everything's blessed, broski. Keep up the good work, brother. The consistency is impeccable. The upload schedule is impeccable. Appreciate that, man. Appreciate that. But yeah, folks, man, I think we've covered everything. I'm going to leave you lot to enjoy what's left of your evening. Obviously, the good times are never over, people, because as Olman said, remember Spain versus Italy. Watch along on Twitch in a bit. Better yet, Italy versus Spain. Make sure you're all there, people. 7:15. It should be a lit one, really. In UEFA Nations League semi-finals of this made-up trophy, but it does seem to have a serious spin on it, man. Last question for our dust out. Should Balogun be given more game time? Arteta promised him more game time when he resigned, but that hasn't been given thus far. I mean, promises are comfort to idiot. So, as I said in the summer before Balogun signed a new deal, he's going to be, if he is not playing at any period, him, Eddie, these sort of stages you get to in your career, if you're having speculation over your future or things aren't happening, you have to blame yourself. The manager's going to tell you everything. He's going to tell you everything he wants to hear, because he wants you to sign. Other clubs are going to tell you the same thing, but you've got to earn it as well. He doesn't look ready. For me, you can only blame yourself. You should have known that you're not levels for Arsenal first team and went out on loan. You should have known there's a lot of strikers ahead of you. There is no Europe. There's none of this. When you get beyond the whole, wanted to play for Arsenal and all the goals and all the stuff, when you get down to it, you was never going to play. You get your little shirt number and all these things, but you was never going to play yet. So again, promises are a comfort to a fool, man. And they're going to tell you that. And to be honest, I'm happy they did, because we can get some money if you're not going to make it, if I'm completely honest with you. But at the same time, he should. But, does Balogun at this moment in time make us stronger of getting 3 points? Arguably not. Would Balogun have done stuff in the last 4 games that we've picked up points? Maybe not. I don't know. But yeah, man, I thought, let me not leave that question hanging. But yeah, man, I'm going to catch you lot over on Twitch, people. So yeah, make sure you're all there at 7:15 UK time. It's been fantastic. Tomorrow we get back to 11:30 business. I'm out.
There's always just that active red flag defending. I think like